Yes, hello. You guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, excellent. All right, so my project is called Date Roulette. And the project that I was basically trying to solve the problem was that just during this course, we've been working so much, I haven't had time to actually like go out, my girlfriend, and like do fun stuff around town. So this was supposed to be kind of just like a quick way where we didn't really have to think about it. We could just kind of choose some fun activity and go do it out in town. So I will share my screen. All right, you guys all see that?
Yep.
Yes. Cool. So just a really basic login page right now. I was trying to use React Bootstrap, but I had a problem with one of my dependency libraries for another part of my application. So that's a bug that I'm going to fix here. But right now I can sign up. Takes me back here. I go to my login. Oops. Misspelled maybe.
I think you used your other email for this one.
Oh, yep. That is what happened. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what's wrong with that now. It's been working all morning, but either way, I do have a login, log out. I can show you guys the models for that. Saves the user in my Postgres database, and I can access it later.
No.
So you go here.
Thank you.
Let's plan a date. So we come here to my roulette wheel, and I've got 38 options in a traditional roulette wheel style saved in a JSON on my back end. So I spin the wheel. Goes to this little animation and it pulls up a card. So try an adventure sport. I got a title, description. This is another model I use. And if I don't really like that, or it's something I've done before, I can hit respin, goes through it again. See a comedy show. So say I want to do that, I hit accept, takes me to a map page. So this is using Google Maps API. And I had a lot of trouble with the Google Maps API. Like other people have been struggling with the Google stuff. It's very overwhelming. It's a lot of stuff. So for the actual locations, I used the Yelp API, and I was able to get the coordinates from that and plot those on top of my Google map. At this point, I haven't been able to add the actual markers. But the idea would be that you'd be able to click it, a little window would pop up, just like if you click one of these type things in the actual Google map itself. And I'd be able to save them into an actual full date, which would have like my title, description, and then a place where you'd be able to add notes like, we're going at this time, we need to dress up, we need to call ahead for reservation. And then I would save that in the back end as a CRUD document, just as kind of like a list of dates. So the map works pretty well. You can move around. If you have an address that you wanted to go to, say you know that you're planning a date for somewhere else, sure. It'll take us here. I haven't been able to add the markers. It's only on the onload so far, but eventually when I redirect, it will also populate with that. And then I also do have location enabled with this little icon in the corner. It takes a couple of seconds, but brought me over to San Diego, which is where I'm currently at. So that's all I got going right now. But yeah, any questions?
So the hearts, those were your saved dates, the little heart pins?
Those are locations where you can do the activity. So
okay.
I kind of have a
that-
bug right now where to actually like see them pop up again, you have to spin the wheel.
Yeah, so that's the second API that generates the date ideas or the locations, or is that all
Correct.
of that?
So this first one is kind of the API that I made myself, where it's just these 38 different like date activities, whether it's like rock climbing or, renting a kayak or something. So this one's like go to a farmer's market or go to a pick your own farm. You hit accept. I have it targeting the Co-Platoon headquarters right now in Chicago as a default. And so these are all the areas around you where you could go and do that, either a farmer's market or a pick your own farm.
I guess is that part of the Google Map API that you choose the little heart things?
No, that's a custom thing that I put in.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
like I said, still a little bit of work to be done on it, but that's kind of the broad strokes of what I'm working with right now. So
Super cool.
Could you just, very cool.
So
Could you just walk me through? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I had one more question. Your date idea thingy, so that generates, does that generate a list with addresses and then you feed the addresses into the Google Map API, or how is the Google Maps getting those locations?
So the Google Map is kind of separate from the actual Yelp. So you should be able to do it just with Google Places. They got a whole bunch of different APIs, and one of them they have is Places for all their businesses. To do a multi-business search though, they charge you like 3% or 3 cents, like a result or something crazy. And it was just really hard to try to get working. So, but I figured out I could basically get the same data for free from Yelp API and then just plot it on this map using the coordinates, because that's how everything gets plotted on here, is just latitude and longitude.
Oh, so did you grab that from the API, store it in some sort of like array, and then when it lands on that, it automatically just loads that array of addresses or something?
Exactly. So
Gotcha.
when the wheel spins, there's a keyword that's connected with each activity. And so it saves the keyword. And then when you go to the map page, it goes into Yelp using that keyword, retrieves. Right now, I think I have 20 businesses set up. So the 20 closest businesses where you could go and do that activity. And then it plots them out on the map like this.
Nice.
Cool. Very cool.
I
Thank
think
you.
a spinal tap map would be even better for this one.
What was that?
I think
The spinal tap map? Yeah,
yeah,
that would be
and
pretty fun for this one. I'll see if I can implement that just for you. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
I think up next
It's
is
oh, sorry.
well, Benjamin
Yes, Benjamin.
Ruse.
It still says I can't share. All right. All right, so I don't really have much because I keep breaking everything, but I'll go over what I do have. I don't really have much of a website, but I have a heck of a, like, I don't know, developer experience going on. Like everything's separated into Docker containers using TypeScript, a whole bunch of other stuff. But here's the website.
That's
So I
awesome.
can just yeah, launch the website. Also, like on push to the GitHub repo, it'll go ahead and deploy it to AWS. So I got that set up. Meanwhile, having broken everything that I've done, messing around with Django serializers. But
Can you walk us through what the application is and what the core features are that you
yeah,
have
Yeah,
or want to
yeah.
get them?
so
Awesome.
what I intended for the website to be was like a crowdsourced predict it. So they have a whole bunch of like prompts kind of thing. Usually they're like focused around politics, and then you can buy shares in a particular outcome. And if you're right, your like share becomes worth $1. Whereas you could have bought it like right now for 38 cents. So I think it'd be cool if there was like a crowdsourced version of that where people were so confident in their like decision-making abilities that they could make money off of it. I think that'd be pretty neat. So that's what I was trying to do. I got to the point to where, I don't know, you can, I got to where you could create a market. Auth still works, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Yeah, auth works.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, not much else right now because I broke Django's serializers trying to nest stuff.
So as a user, I can create a market, just to kind of roll through our requirements. Can I edit or delete that market? And are there other things that I can do as a user right now?
Right at this moment, no. Maybe in like 30 minutes or so. Like
Got it.
I'll eventually just push it to like public internet.
Cool.
Yeah. But
Yeah, if you want to
yeah,
maybe,
oh sorry.
I was gonna say it'd be awesome. Why don't you walk us through some of the parts that you have like the code up and running for, but it sounds like there's just maybe that one serializer issue. Because it sounds like there are a lot of cool feature code implemented and like almost ready to go. And that way we can kind of see some of the moving bits and odds and ends.
Okay, yeah, I'll go over some of the things that like have caused me to break all my stuff. So nested serializers. There's a whole bunch of libraries that help with all of these issues with Django, but none of them are like really maintained. So I've been having to figure out how to do that on my own and like why stuff doesn't work. Like especially defining fields right here. Like if you were to make this like a primary key related field, it doesn't serialize right. And you have to like overload like internal representations. It's like two representation.
Mhm.
Yeah, or two internal view or something like that. And
Mhm.
that was very, very complicated. I was going through like the whole call stack of Django REST framework stuff. It was very boring, but I eventually got it working to where like I have everything nested and I'm not relying on somebody's, I don't know, library that they put out like 2 years ago. But we can see the API. I have I'm using a Django REST framework spectacular. It'll generate like an open API documentation for the API. It has
Cool.
Swagger, which is the one that you've probably seen before. If you've ever
Mhm.
used Fast API, it'll
Yep.
like you have forms and you can like demonstrate queries and stuff like that. But yeah, so you can see all the API routes and they did work at one point. They just don't right now. But yeah, so all the models. So we have all that stuff is just auto-generated from like a library I got. But investments, so these would be offers for a share that were bought, you know, kind of thing that you're holding
Mhm.
on to. And
Mhm.
there's cred for all of those. And then
Can you maybe
markets.
just, oh, so you were saying with investments, got it. So there's CRUD for investments. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, there's cred for most of these, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, for offers, but for some of them, it's a little bit different because for like markets, say we go to predict it and we go to the main website. I don't know why it's looking all weird. All right. Yeah, we go to markets and like I can only see 2 contracts for this market, but there's obviously more. But you wouldn't really want to like serve up data that you're not really using at this point in time. Because if I click on it, then we get the rest of it. And that would be way too much to serve up for literally everything that you're serving on this page. So that was one thing that sucked, trying to figure out how to use a model view set because I didn't want to implement a custom route for every operation.
Mhm.
But like render the like nested objects for everything besides listing markets. Like if we go to here, expand. Yeah, so here's one that's not like fleshed out. Like it doesn't have like tags or IDs, and it doesn't have contracts on it. It should have contracts, but it should just have like 2 IDs. I think that's like one of the most recent things I broke. But for one of these, you have the whole thing.
Can you walk us through it? There was a question about, can you maybe just explain? I don't think a lot of folks are familiar with like the tool that kind of generates API documentation like this.
Yeah.
And then could you walk us through like the basic behavior set of the application, even if it's not implemented, you know what I mean? Like what a user can do in terms of creating a market or making a contract and so on.
Yeah, so Open API is just like specification. It'd be like something like JSON. You know, somebody defines what JSON is. But because it's so standard, you can like reliably do things based off of that. So for instance, like I like you can generate API documentation using something like Redoc, which is what I'm using, or Swagger, which is probably the other one that you'll see. And Django REST Framework Spectacular is like a library that does that for Django view sets. So it really is just like pip install this and then add the views. And then you can go to a route wherever you set it up. So I have mine at just the API route. So yeah, because I don't have Django, like I think everyone else's site, they had like Unicorn serving Django, serving the static React files. I have like Nginx serving Django static files and the static React app, and then forwarding all the API routes to the backend application. So Unicorn, like in front of Django. So where's Nginx?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have time to dig into that part of your architecture right now, just to be mindful of time, but I would love, and my guess is a lot of folks in the class would love to get like a walkthrough of this at like a future time. It may be like in the morning one day when we start class, or like an optional breakout session, because it sounds like you've done a lot of really interesting, like you've set up like a very production ready architecture here that it sounds like you're already deploying and stuff. So that would be awesome to see and learn more about.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to say one thing though. Because like Open API is a standard, and because it's a standard, you can generate documentation off of it. You can also generate like a client-side API, because I was originally, just building out a whole bunch of, fetch queries and stuff like that, and then I moved to React query, and I tried to like standardize that, and then I figured out I can get a thing to generate all my React queries from the file right here, and that's pretty nice. So
That's
here's all of
awesome.
them. Here's like every operation I could do on my API generated into JavaScript.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
would
didn't
love
have
to
to
see
do that. It
that.
was cool.
Yeah, you said you're using, was React Query the tool that did that, or was there another one that you used to then generate
So
that was using?
the tool specifically is just a code generator, but it's called like Orville.
Got it. Okay,
Where'd it go?
got it.
Oh, right here. Yeah, so I just specify an input. So this file that I would download. Yeah, it's just I don't know, like schema kind of thing. But this is my API. So it takes this and then turns it into React query stuff. So I was writing my own, where is it? API, mutations, and then queries. So I was writing like these wrappers for it that yeah, ended up being a lot because of TypeScript kind of stuff. But after figuring that out, I got the generator to just do it for me. So It's kind of
That's
upsetting.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't talked about code generators. Essentially though, they're tools where you kind of give it a format. And if you have a lot of boilerplate code that's exactly the same, it'll do that work for you. They can be really powerful. I know like coworkers who've used them and loved them. I haven't worked a ton with them. I would love to see them. We definitely will find like a breakout session or sometime in the morning to dig into it more. Just to make sure we don't get lost into the architecture. I just want to check in. Zainab, was there any stuff that you wanted to check in about with the project or anything like that?
Just your APIs that you were using.
Yeah, I don't really have any. I was gonna throw in something real quick, but I had something else running. But yeah, I'll end up doing that real quick. I was gonna, like, for the profile page, which is currently broken, you have tokens for the site that you would use like currency without, like, you know, having to implement like payment processing and stuff. But in order to get tokens, you would I don't know, get shown cat pictures and pick one, and then voting would give you tokens. So I'll probably do that. But besides that, I don't really have any third party APIs. I mean, I don't know. It's I don't know,
Yeah.
the
If you're
deployment
building your
thing
own
is
dang
kinda-
APIs, gotta qualify for at least one.
Well, we'll have that conversation later. The nice thing is there's plenty of time to add in those APIs, so it's not going to be a big deal. This is an amazing project. There is a conversation to be had here about like not keeping the eye on requirements, like when we also like there's a lot of opportunities to add like just managing project scope, but there's like clearly a lot of work here. The Swagger, you didn't use Swagger, but the API generation tool alone is an awesome feature to have. So yeah, this is awesome, Ben. Thank you. And we're going to set up a time where you can walk us through more of the architecture and how you set it up and deploy it.
All right, sounds good.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
So, Maya, you're up next.
All right, let me. Oh, I can't share my screen until he stops.
Yeah, Benjamin, you need to stop. Thank you.
All right. So mine is not finished either, but it has a lot of heart.
That's all that matters.
That's for everything. Let me move you guys out of the way. Okay, so my website is, I think I may have bitten off more than I could chew. Actually, let me hide. All right, so I think I may have bitten off more than I could chew. So this is actually a project that I still intend to work on, but it's essentially, think if you've ever heard of Bumble BFF, it's Bumble BFF for couples. So helping couples find other platonic or build platonic friendships with other couples. So for this, you essentially come, this is the home page. You've got your carousel here. You can either plan dates. So if you go to certain ones, so on this page, we're pulling in from Yelp. So actually I was supposed to be using Eventbrite, and I realized that Eventbrite stopped allowing people to pull event searches. So just random searches of all of the events in the area. They now charge you for that. However, Yelp pulls from Eventbrite. So I use the Yelp API instead. And this is essentially set up. It's hard coded because when I start it, I'm going to start it from DC. So this is for all events within, I think it's like 20 or 50 miles of DC. 99 upcoming events. So you can go through, it has the link if you want to find out more about said event. Wait, no. So there's that. There's also, if you want to find cool restaurants to plan for your dates, I use the Google Places API, which was actually not as helpful as I thought it would be, but I went ahead and stuck with it because it was also not as easy to figure out as I thought it would be. And once I figured it out, I left it here. But this is basically like, I picked a certain point in DC. I think I chose the White House, and it only lets you pull up to 20 items at a time. So this is 20 restaurants nearby with the ratings, the price level, blah, blah, blah. I did not get to my bread and butter, which is the Find Friends, where you would essentially see the information for other people and then add them to, if you see a couple you're interested in, you would click that you like them and it would add you to, that would add to the database. So if we first go in here, let's see, we can join. I left these here so you guys could kind of see the intent, because this is all the stuff I would be bringing in, but for basic usability, let's say we start an account. So partner one, Zainab at email.com. What's your password? We're going to say your password is Adam. And then Adam, not saying you guys are a couple, at email.com. And then, of course, you're in love. So your password is Zainab and location is DC. Submit. And actually, so you see over here that it was submitted, and then, oh no, that is my, so we see over here that it went out, but if we look in our database, and we go all the way down at the bottom, let's hope I didn't break it, we should see Zainab and Adam. So you guys are in. Now that you're in, let's have you sign in. So let's go to login. Let's see, Zainab at email.com. Your password, Adam. So it's giving me some BS down here. But if we go here, we see that we have a user. You have been authenticated and you are logged in. I was having issues. I don't fully understand the whole use state thing. That is the main thing that stresses me out. And so I couldn't really figure out how to get it to reflect in other ways, but you were technically logged in. And then of course, if you decide you're not interested anymore, there you go. You are now logged out. You don't like the people on here and you're done. And then just like a simple about us page, which basically just has like the, I'll end up adding a lot of other resources where there are articles and everything that are written about the benefits of having platonic couple friends for a relationship. So I'll have those down here. You click on it, it takes you to those stories. But yeah, that is it. I didn't get a chance to finish. And this is where we are.
Thank you. It looks great so far.
Thanks. I just got to figure out use state and then I can do more with it.
We'll connect on that and make sure that that gets cleared up for sure.
Yeah. If you look at my code,
Mhm.
I have use state in here like 50 million times, but I just kept like moving it around everywhere, trying to figure out where the hell it's supposed to go
Mhm.
and how to use it. And I failed. But
Well, yeah,
does
we'll
everything
connect on that. Clear it up. But
and
thank you so
how
much.
do yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to stop sharing. There we go. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Maya.
Thank you.
Next up, Dennis.
All right, can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can see it.
Okay, so I actually got my idea from the day where Raphael was doing his apartment tour and you guys were asking questions. And somebody asked him what he had in his fridge and he said chicken. So I got curious and I was wondering what he was gonna make with that. And I think a big part about cooking is like using the food that you already have in your fridge. So my idea is instead of going on Google and typing in like chicken recipes and going to that website and then making an account and saving it there, you can just use mine and have them all consolidated in one app. I have my sign up here. You put your email address, password, and you make an account. It makes an object in Postgres, but I already have an account made, so we use that one. So once you log in, a bunch of stuff is rendered, and I use state to see if there's a user online, and that rendered a few things like this nav bar, the log out, so you can log out just right off the bat. That works. Just log back in and start typing in some stuff. So it's actually very similar to Angels. I think we use the same API, but these are some things that I've just been toying with. So let's just say rice. You type in rice, it pulls up 10 quick, not quick, but it pulls up 10 recipes because if it gives you too many options, you're gonna just end up looking through all of them versus just picking something to eat, which is always the hard part. So let's just save a few. Save the favorites. Eventually, I'm going to go back and change the button so that the button will render based on if I clicked it or not. And let's add this one, and then let's add bourbon because I like bourbon. So it pulls up drinks too. We'll save this one. We'll save this one, and let's just say like I don't know, lobster or something. Lobster. This one looks pretty good. Lobster rolls are pretty good. And then we'll just say spam because I've been looking that up too. So spam. So at this point, this is all being, it's not using the backend yet. This is all being stored in state. So it's not being saved as an object. But when you click, that's when it gets saved as an object. My thought process is like, you can have your own cookbook and that pretty much stores all your recipes. And then from here, eventually I want it so you can share it with other users. Like say you try like this recipe out and you really like it, you can share it to another user. But for now, it just stores it in your personal cookbook. And then this takes you to an external link. It gives you a whole recipe and how to make it, maybe like a little background on it, ingredients. We see how like here you have to go to different recipes or to different sites versus here it's all saved in one spot. And then from here, if you don't like the recipe or it wasn't that good, you can just remove it. And at this point, this is coming from the back end. Because when you save it to your cookbook, it stores it in the back end, and then React goes to the back end and stores this as in state as well. So when I remove it, it changes the count of the list, and then it just re-renders and prints it back on the screen. And that's pretty much it for map now. It's not quite done yet. There's still some more features I would like to add. For example, I want it so that when you have these cards on Angels, he had the picture and he had all the ingredients to the right side. I want it kind of similar, but I want to have state in each of these components. So when you click, it's kind of like a toggle. You can flip the card, so on the back side it'll list all the ingredients. So not only do you say you're looking for a recipe that contains lobster because you have lobster in your fridge for some reason. Oh, what happened?
You need a tea and lobster.
Oh yeah, lobs. So you can click on this one. You would click it. It would render the backside of the card, and it would show you like you need lobster, and then you need like X, Y, and Z as well. Just so you know if you need to buy more ingredients or if you have what you need in your fridge. And that's pretty much it for now. Do you guys have any questions?
What were your APIs that you've used?
I just used one. I was gonna use, I use Edamame, and I was gonna use the one that had drinks. I think it was called like Drinks DB. But once I realized that I could pull drinks from this one, it kind of ruined my plan. So I just stuck with that one, and I'm gonna add another one eventually, just like probably like a weather app or something, just to fulfill a requirement. But it was, I think it was called like, let's see. Yeah, this one.
Awesome.
Yep, that was the one.
Thank you.
Yep. Any questions? No. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Dennis. Chris, you're up next.
Awesome. Let's see. What do you guys see on the screen?
We got it.
See your site.
Awesome.
Money circle.
Yeah, money circle. So the idea behind my app is basically a lending circle. For those of you that don't know what a lending circle is, it's basically when people come together like a small group of 5 individuals. They want to save money for maybe a down payment of a house or just to save money. So the idea behind my app is basically you'll have the ability to join my app, and then you'll be able to join a group. And then basically each member would agree to deposit $500 for about 20 months. And at the end of 20 months, each member of those 5 people would have saved $10,000. So that's the idea. So we'll go to sign up.
Wait, so it's like group accountability for saving, or it's like they're saving for a common goal?
Each individual person can have their own goal.
So it's like an accountability. We're gonna like all agree to put this much money aside each month, and because other people are doing it, you're more inclined to do it yourself?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're logged in. We'll basically create a group. Let's see. Let's see. Save. Okay, so we'll go back to, now we want to join a group. So you put your email. And then I have a little drop down menu. You go join the invest group. And then now we can see the profile. And you can make an edit to this. You can edit your name. And then you can also see who's part of your group. These are your members. And then I have, for this search bar, I have the ability, have it connected to the Pixabay, and that's supposed to be so if you want to look up pictures of homes. Let's see. Oh, I think I have it. Yeah, so they just kind of display underneath this. And the last feature that I have is basically to make a payment. I have it connected to the Stripe API. So here you want to make a payment. So you click on make a payment. And something just, it's missing a token.
Love those token errors.
Yeah. Darn. I might need to make another edit to my page. Let me just see real quick if I can just do it on a non.
Did you actually get payment authentication working?
Yeah,
Freaking awesome, man.
let's just see if this will work, but I think I still might need to log in. Let's just do this one. Okay, let's see. Now let's try it again. No, okay. I need to make an edit to this. All right.
So when people pay into it, where does the money go? Into their own savings account or into like a shared savings account with the group?
So with the Stripe payment, you can basically do it into a group account. So it would all go into a group account here in the Stripe payment, and then you can do payouts through the Stripe payment.
Can you withdraw from that group account?
Yes.
Hey, okay.
All right.
Yeah, were
I'll
those like real transactions where you have to put like your bank account information and
They give you a dummy credit card, so you're
Oh,
able to
okay.
do it with a dummy credit card. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Very, very cool.
All right. Any questions?
So you're using those two APIs, the Stripe and the one for the images and stuff like that.
Correct.
Awesome. Anyone have questions? Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Awesome. Who's up next? Jake.
Hey everyone. So my project is similar to John's. We kind of had the same idea. For anyone that doesn't know, avian, that means bird. My project is not complete either. I kind of started out with an idea and then it just transformed into more of just trying to satisfy the requirements. But let me just tell you, like my original idea was I wanted to have a site kind of like with the same functionality as WebMD, where you can like put in symptoms and get a diagnosis, but instead of symptoms, you put in like either like the size, color, region of bird that you've seen, and then it would like give you back a list of possible matches. The API that I was going to use was a little too complicated for that, so I started just making like my own database birds. That I realized I was going to take way too long, so that's something that I'm going to be working on probably in coming years. So I'm just going to start like right to left, and if you guys have any questions, you can ask. So I'm going to try to log in just with something that isn't going to work. So yeah, it says invalid, please try again or sign up. So let's just sign up. I don't think I use my name. Let's do that. And then once you're signed up, it'll pop up in the top right corner for the user. And then the bird log is birds that you've seen that you want to like put in on your account. So I don't know, we could put like bird. And then I also wanted to have some sort of like Google Map API integration, like where people were using the pinpoints to just so you can kind of like on the bird log go back and see like a location column too. But just for demonstrative purpose. Oh, and also this is all messed up. But that's the one that we just added, and you can see that it went into the database, just this one here, and the whoever entered it in, it gets like linked to their account. So that's the bird log kind of. The search doesn't do anything. That's just the home page, and these buttons don't work either, unfortunately. These two were just kind of to satisfy the API requirements. Honestly, I liked Garrett's idea. I think it was Garrett with the like medieval keyword, and then it would just show like a picture of like a medieval or something medieval. So right now it's just showing me a random picture. I need to like set it to a keyword so that it would show you a bird. But I haven't gotten that figured out yet. And so the API that I was using for the random thing is it's called Lorem Pixum. And then for a weather API, I'm using Open Weather, I believe it's called. I don't know if these are real lab models, but they must be because we're getting something back. That's about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, the styling on your site is very, very nice.
Yeah, I like that part. That's fun.
Yeah. I can't.
All right.
So what was wrong with that one API, with the one where you wanted to use for the search?
Can I just show it to you real quick? It'll just take like a second. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's probably something wrong with me. It's just like it wasn't giving me exactly what I wanted, and it like pretty much what I wanted was just like, okay, there's a bird. You're most likely to see this in this region. The bird is this color, and it's size category like 1 through 4. And that's not at all what like this was returning me. So that's when I started like making this, and I was like, okay, I'll just try to make it however I want to. So that's when I was going through like birds of North America, and I was like entering the species, and then I made up like my own little size chart and like region chart, colors, but this is not functional.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you probably would have to
Yeah,
do a lot of, work on the data from that API to actually get what you want.
Wait, are you saying like my own API or like
No, the bird.
or this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one seems really cool. It's just I don't know how to
Yeah, it's not giving you
use it quite yet.
you want. Yeah.
A little confusing.
Understandable.
But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome.
All right.
Anyone
Thank
have-
you guys.
Of course, thank you. Anyone have comments, questions?
Yeah, Jake, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, John?
You guys,
John?
pretty bad. I was looking at it too for my stuff, and basically eBird is for avid birders, so they don't have any information for identification because they expect you to already know all that stuff. So it's kind of
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
It's for keeping people's life list of birds. A life list is like all the birds that a person has seen in their life. So yeah, it's for like very experienced birders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Thanks for letting me know. I was like going through all of the things that it returned, and I was like, where is color? Where is size?
Awesome. Thank you, Jake.
All right, I guess that means it's my turn, huh?
Yes.
All right, so I definitely broke my app, but I will show you what I have. So this is the start. You can sign up. This is the sign up page. Already, actually, the login page. I already have the user auth model set up, so we'll log in. And then from here, you can, so these two don't actually work right now because I can't get my data to store correctly in my database. But for the new adventure, it's an interactive map. And coming up with an interactive map was actually extremely difficult, as a lot of the people trying to deal with Google Maps API knows. I actually ended up using Mapbox, and I got the points to work. When I click on the map, it'll actually add a waypoint. And then the idea behind the app is that you can create a route by adding the waypoints and then add in the information like title, what you're doing out to the store or something. And then how long or how much money you're going to need and how long it's going to take. And the idea is that you'd make like, you know, a list of like adventures that you like to do throughout the day. That way, if somebody's in the area, they can like look at different things that they could spend an hour doing or 2 hours doing. However, it does not currently go to my database because I'm having issues. But here are my database models. I just have the app user model and then the adventure model. And it's just not saving. As you can see here in my P-SQL, when I list, it just doesn't populate, even though it says that it goes there. So that's the issue I'm trying to deal with right now. After I do get that working, you'll be able to go to this All Adventures page or My Adventures page, and you can see the ones that you've made yourself, just like all of them laid out on little tile cards. And then the All Adventures would be ones that the entire community has created. And then they'll be shown on a map by just a point. You'd be able to click on the point and pop them up for the actual route. And then it'll map it out. My account, this is where you eventually will be able to update it. I didn't get that working because I was trying to figure out the API. And then the API for my second API was a weather API that I was implementing with the cards for the routes. After you create it, it would show like the weather during the time of day that, or during like the current weather for the activity you wanted to go do, just so you could see if it was raining in that area or if it was sunny or whatever the case may be. But I couldn't do that because I couldn't store the data to pull the data. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Awesome. Yeah, that I really like this idea. It's very cool.
Yeah, I actually I was trying to use Google Maps API at first, and then I spent a couple of days trying to figure that out at the beginning. And anytime I tried to make a route, it would just redirect me to actual Google Maps, and the API would. So I was like, that's not going to work. So then I had to switch to this one, and I had other directions working, but it would only let me get 2. So I had to add the waypoints themselves.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can find that. Where's that? Oops. Let's see if that'll work. Oh, I broke it. That's okay. But yeah, so right now it only, when I click, it'll do the points, but it'll only make the route between the 2 points. When I click on a third point, it would just redirect. So I have to use a different API call and pass in all of the waypoints, which is what I'm trying to pass into my database right now, but I'm having difficulties doing that. So that's why it's not working.
Okay.
But yeah. Any questions on what I have set up currently?
Awesome. Thank you, Caleb.
You're welcome.
Craig, you're next.
Okay, just a sec. All right. Go. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
So I am an on again, off again beekeeper. I was actually able to dig up today. Those were my hives when I last had them active. They were on the roof of my building. So my project is just an application to maintain some information both on the hives that you have and then the periodic inspections when you go in just to check in the hives and make sure everything's going okay. Called it Apis. Apis is the genus name for honeybees. I think there's like 6 or 8 different species. So we have the login page. We can register a new user here. Let's do, I've already done Jim Jones. Okay, and that's created. Right here on the nav bar, the only two things you get before you log in are login and a little about pop-up, just telling you what's going on. So Jim isn't in there yet. So we can go in, log in. So the nav bar actually is supposed to change when you log in. I was working with Skylar on that earlier today, and we have a solution. I just haven't implemented it yet, but it does change if you refresh the page. So then you get the different options up there. So I should have mentioned that I am also not 100% complete on this. I realized yesterday that I made an error when I created my database schema. I should have had a foreign key for the user in the Hive model, and I didn't want to change that today right before everything because I'm sure it's going to break stuff. But I can show you which means I can't filter based on the user. But what my intent is that when you're logged in, if you list the hives, it would list only your hives. So in this case, it's just a list of all the hives that I've created in the database. We can just pick one here, and it takes you to kind of a detail page. Just with information, you would generally just create, populate this when you create the hive, and just some of the different options for things that you have installed in the hive. You can actually update this if you want to afterwards. And you can see if we reload here, it's actually saved. And I had the option to delete the hive if like has happened to me a few times. If all your bees die, there's no use keeping a record around for the hive. So we take you to delete hive, and just a big warning to let you know that if you delete it, everything associated with it gets deleted. I won't go through with that, but if you cancel, it goes back to it. If you want to create a new hive, it brings up kind of the same information fields. Here I'm using a geolocation API, so it pulls in not only the latitude and longitude for wherever this IP address is associated, and in this case, it's Tinley Park, which I guess is a little bit northeast of here, but you can change that if you want to. There's different size hive components that you can use. 10 frames is kind of the standard. Yes, it's active, and then you can choose the breed that you want to, and just some notes and submit. Oh, you have to give it a nickname because that's the primary key for this. So call it presentation hive. And so it's created, and then if we go back, we can see it's now listed. The other thing, the other model table that I had is for the different inspections. So once I get the hives correlated to users, then I can correlate the inspections by hive. But for now, this is just a list of all the inspections, and you can just check one out here. So I use the geolocation API to pull in not only the current temperature and humidity when the inspection was created, and it didn't pull in here. I can show you when we do a new inspection. It also pulls in some pollen information. A couple of things you look for. It's really important to try to find the queen every time you inspect your hive, because if there's no queen, everything just falls apart. You can definitely tell when your hive is swarmed because there will be only half the bees left when you go in. And if times are tough, you can actually feed the hives. You can give them sugar syrup, or you can give them a pollen supplement, things like that. A record for whether it has a disease, the hive has diseases observed, and any medications you may have applied for that. And then again, a bunch of notes pages. I did not implement an update feature on the inspection details, just because I figure once you've done it, there shouldn't really be a reason to go back and change it. For the new inspection, again, it auto-populates the temperature and the humidity based on location. And here it pulled in some pollen information. And I just figured that's kind of a good reference, because where the pollen is coming from should be the plants and grasses and things that are actually in bloom, which would be the plants that the bees are visiting, which gives you an indication of what kind of nectar they'd be collecting, which then translates into kind of what the taste of the honey would be like. So I think the only primary key here is the inspection date. So and so if we save that, so we created that, and then it's this very bottom one. Well, no, it's not. Okay, I will look into that. Let's see, that that is about it. Just once I'm able to make that foreign key change, then I'll be able to correlate everything the way it's supposed to work.
Awesome. This is so cool. I never knew
And
I knew so little about bees.
yeah, it's pretty fascinating. And obviously I didn't do a lot of styling yet. I know there's a lot of white in the site, so that's something I'm definitely going to work on as well.
I think it looks great.
Well, thank you.
Any questions for Craig?
I got a question, Craig. What does it mean when a hive is swarmed?
So if the bees collectively determine that there are too many of them in the hive, they will create a new queen, and about half of them will leave the hive with that new queen and go establish a new hive somewhere else. And that's a bad thing for a beekeeper because you lose half your bees. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
I question too. What do you mean by create a new queen?
So most of the bees in a beehive are female, which actually comes from unfertilized eggs. If a female egg is fed a substance called royal jelly, I don't know if you've ever heard of that, it actually will develop into a new queen. Usually there's only one queen in a hive. I forget why the queen will suddenly tolerate a second one. Usually she'll kill any other queens that are also in the hive, but maybe it happens so fast that they just get out of there before anything really happens. But so one of the things in the inspection checklist is to look for queen cells, and they, instead of being in the honeycomb, they're usually on the bottom of a frame, and it looks like a big cup. And that's where where the new queens would develop. So if you see those, you have some sort of issue that the hive has decided that they need a new queen. So you can like cut them off or just take some other measures to kind of keep that queen from developing if you need to.
It's crazy stuff.
It is. I think it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I used to mess with bees a lot when I was little. I got stung a lot.
Yeah, I have definitely been stung. I can't say you get used to it, but
That's so cool. Thank you.
oh, thank you.
Anything else for Craig? Awesome. Okay, last but not least, we have Lewis. Is Louise here?
He was here earlier.
Don't know. Yeah.
He's having mic issues.
Okay. Sorry, I accidentally unmuted earlier.
Well, just read your lips, Lewis. Go ahead. Or actually use Dan's text to voice application.
It would appear that he cleared it with Adam, that he could do it in the morning because he's having technical issues. Did you mention that, Zainab?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think Luis is saying that he cleared it with Adam that he's having technical issues, so we do it in the morning. Did he,
Oh.
did Adam mention that to you?
He did not, but okay. Yeah, I guess if it's not working, then we can do it in the morning. It is 5, so we ended at a very good time. Yeah, let me stop the recording real quick.